Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Alt Kings podcast. I'm your host, Tate, and today we have another HBAR project, Yarn World, with their founder. How you doing today? I didn't catch your name, but it's nice to have you.
Yes, sir. You can call me the GOAT.
Go.
Nice to be on here, man. Appreciate the invite.
Definitely. So tell me a little about yourself. What kind of got you into the space? How'd you find HBAR, and what do you do outside of Web3?
I manage a garage door company, so I hands-on kind of guy. I started off in XRP actually. My brother Hydro, shout out to Hydro, he got me into NFTs back in 2020 and 2021 is when I really went dived into it. I started off in XRP. I didn't really like the vibe there, so I just started venturing out and looking at different blockchains, and then I came across Hedera. Once I came across Hedera, me and Hydro, we both looked at each other and said, "Let's give it a go." And then the rest was history, man. And I've been treated like family ever since I came in. Yeah, it's been
Nice.
great.
That's awesome. And it's nice to hear that you have already previously established business and a foundation behind your business where pretty much the ins and outs of what goes into a business and how to really construct it to your liking as well as construct it to the liking of success. And that is where we have Yarn World. So Yarn World, from my understanding, was an NFT collection with utilizing AI to generate yarn like NFTs. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's I'm using different AIs to try to not even try to successfully create yarn creations that everybody loves, and I love doing them myself. I look at myself more of a poet. I think about it, I imagine it, and then I write it down, and that's when AI comes into play, and I use it as a tool. Like I said,
Definitely.
I see myself as a poet. I write it down and bring all this stuff to life. Yeah,
I think it's a
it's
really good way of putting it as well, considering yourself a poet, especially when using AI, because it really comes back down to how you speak to AI for it to really work with you in your best interest and get you what you want at the end of the day. I want to give a shout out to my mama. She's probably end up watching this. She actually got me into yarn, crocheting. She has always crocheted me blankets, caps, and a bunch of other stuff in the past. And so that's what really caught my interest about this project was that my grandmother actually spiked my interest with the yarn industry and kind of these creations that you've put together. They're quite spectacular in my eyes. I really like the Batman one. I like a lot of these ones that you do of some celebrities and stuff. And I think whatever you're telling, whatever AI platform that you're designing these in, you're doing a hell of a job with it. And I just want to applaud you on your work so far.
I appreciate it, man. I can relate 100% because my mom, she till the day she still crochets. She's getting older now, so it's harder for her to do it, but yeah, she crocheted my kids scarves, hats, and different little things. And also my wife's aunt also does. She does more knitting, but it's pretty much the same thing. But
Yeah,
she she
definitely.
she does these stuffed animals for the kids every Christmas. So it was what kind of sparked the idea. I was walking around our local flea market and I came across one of the knitted little plush toys that just a random person was selling. It was a Pikachu. I bought it for my kid. We took it home. We played, and back then I was known as Hash Coats, which we'll get into that later. But yeah, no, it just one day we were playing in my daughter's room, and I saw it, and I was like, you know what? Let me try something. And look where we're at now.
And the rest is history. So,
Yes,
what
sir.
platform do you use to create these AI generated pieces?
There's multiple. It's not just one. There's multiple. I know Starry AI is what I started using, and then I started venturing out different types. Right now, I'm trying to get the hang of doing Midjourney, which is a little bit difficult. I don't understand the concept of Discord and all that, but I'm
Yeah.
learning. I'm learning as I go. But yeah, it's just different platforms. Mainly, like I said, the ones that I started using was Starry AI, and then that was that was the first one. Now I'm into like six different apps that create this stuff. So it's not just one. It's multiple.
Oh, wow. That's quite fascinating. So it's complex if you think about it in regards to constructing these pieces, going from one platform to another, just to get specific sorts of, I guess it'd be traits and like the ways the yarn grooves in and out of each other on the pieces is where you go to perfect it within each of these different platforms. each
Correct.
platform has its own values.
Correct. And I do use editing like PixArt and stuff like that because of course AI, they'll add seven fingers and there's only supposed to
Yeah.
be five.
Yeah.
So I'll do what I have to do. I'll edit, remove, add filters. I do more than just write in a prompt and receive it how it is. I make it look realistic because if not, you'd have a two-nose Batman.
Yeah.
You'd have a 10 finger hand and stuff like that. I do a lot to make them more personalized because at the end of the day, I'm doing what I like. I'm doing what I think looks right. I'm doing what I enjoy, and it's working. A lot of people love it. Not a lot of negativity that I've received from it. So everything's been sunshine and butterflies.
That's great to hear. We do love whenever it is always sunshine and butterflies, especially with community rapport coming back and expressing positive feedback regarding the art. We've delved into who you are, what inspired this project, what it takes to create this art. Now I want to know the minting process. So you mint on a launch pad on Hedera. Somebody buys this art. What's next for them? What is that next step for them? Is it just art? Is there any value that comes with it? Or what are we looking at for holders?
For holders, I do have plans. As of right now, they're in the works. There's nothing set in stone quite yet. When I was doing hash codes, which still a thing, I had my hurt token, which my hurt token was like the reward for holding, and what I'm using that token for is for minting. So whenever I drop different collections, there's going to be some for HBAR, and there'll be some specifically just for gold holders. As far as shifting over into the yarn world, there is some utility that I am going to bring to the table. One of them being skits. One of my partners and I, we've been talking about different things that we can do to entertain folks. Because the way I look at it is, I want people to see Yarn World as these Saturday morning cartoon shows they used to see back in the day. You know what I mean? I want them to be able to wake up in the morning and say, I'm feeling goatish today. Let's see what's on the market. They open up their hatchback, they go into their D app, they open up whatever platform they want to use, and they can find Yarn World and put a smile on their face. And that's what the main utility is, put a smile on people's faces. If I've done that, I've achieved part of my goal. But as far as stuff like utility and stuff like that, as of right now, it's in the works. There's multiple options. We haven't decided on which one. As of right now, it's in the works. That's all I can say.
Not bad. And at least to put something out there and not necessarily have everybody expect it yet, but just to say that there's things in the works isn't necessarily a bad strategy because you're not necessarily saying, oh, we're going to go build out this yarn game and then people are expecting this. But if you say things are coming, just stay tuned. This is just art for now. And we hope this
And
art makes you happy. That's a much better perspective than saying, we have X, Y, and Z coming. Stay tuned for this. But we don't know when it's coming yet. And then people are like a standstill and they don't necessarily know if things are actually going to progress in the way that they like. So keeping it vague initially and then progressing as developments occur and really finding your spot in this market for you to really make yourself stand out beneath the crowd is really a smart approach. And I think just keeping it as simple as possible as well can really help a project grow.
yeah, and
With
the way I look at it is when you overpromise,
yeah,
you underdeliver. You can't. Like, even if you work hard, no matter how many plans you have, as much as we all know, plans don't always go as planned. So
of course.
I don't like to put out something that I know, or not even that I know, just something that I can't deliver. So I'd much rather bring the utility once it's ready and actually push that utility once the utility is ready to go. Because if, let's say, I tell people on the podcast right now, I say, I'm doing this. 2 weeks later, I still haven't done it. 3 weeks later, just like you said, I still haven't done it. It's only going to cause people frustration and anger
Yep.
towards the project. So I'd rather just Keep it plain and simple. As of right now, it's just art. If it's making you smile, that's one utility. The other utilities will come. Just hang on to them. But I'm also not opposed. If you need the if you need the HBAR, I'm with you. I'm not here to force you to hold my project because it's hard. It's hard right now. The bear market has not
Definitely.
been it has not been kind to everybody, and that's another reason why my project has been flourishing is because I'm not out here to get your money. I'm not out here to gimme and just take off like all these other projects. I don't charge that much for my work. I'd much rather have a happy customer because that's basically what it is. I'd rather have a happy customer with something that they purchased at a very reasonable price. And not only that, but something that will make them smile every time they flip through their hatchback. So,
Definitely.
yeah, it's just, it's been, I get asked all the time, why don't you charge more? You can charge a lot more for this. Why don't you move to another chain? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? It's not what I'm about. What I'm about is I'm about community, I'm about growth. And if we can't grow together, then what's the point?
Well said. And I have to ask now, what are you charging for these yarn NFTs?
There's different. It just depends. It depends
Sure.
on the size of the collection. I can tell you it's no more than 150 each. I think the last collection I did was 111, and that was the anti pop and drop club. And yeah, everybody loved those. And it's a collection of 100, and I'm dropping 25 at a time. So I'm making it as scarce as possible, but also being reasonable with the pricing. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you I want 400H because I'm bringing you all this to the table. I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm bringing you a nice little fluffy ball guy that
Yeah.
has a smile on his face. Did it make you smile? It did. And then as far as like the revenue and all that stuff, I'm putting it back into the ecosystem. I'm buying stuff just to give away stuff. Like I just did 7 days of giving for my birthday.
Nice.
I minted out a collection of birthday goats and they minted out. With that money that I got from minting out, I purchased NFTs from the community and I just gave it back. Just gave it back because that's
Smart
what it's
approach.
about. It's
Yeah.
what it's about. At the end of the day, you guys gave me your money. You guys gave me your all. You guys gave me your attention. I'm going to give you something back. It doesn't necessarily have to be my NFTs. I'd much
Yeah.
rather give out Jordan's NFTs or give out Caps hot dogs. Stuff that people like, stuff that is relevant. I'm not going to give you a sloth or
Yeah.
a gangster's paradise because we all know. So I'm doing stuff for the community because, like I said, it's growth that I'm looking for. I want to grow. I want to be here when all the green candles start coming around, back around. The bull market's here. I want to grow. I want to be able to be a part of the community. A while back, they had the NFT New York, and they had a Hedera billboard, and I missed out. Like I saw all my friends and everybody was on the board, and I'm like, where am I? So it hurt. That me not being on there, it just gave me more fuel to push more of growth, more of community. Because at the end of the day, that's who makes you who you are, is the community, not your NFTs. You can have 1,000 NFT collection at 5 HBAR, but if your community doesn't know you and the community doesn't like you, you're not gonna mint out. Community's big for me.
Community is everything. The
Exactly,
community is going to make or break any project at the end of the day.
one hundred
Did you
percent.
ever find out how to get on that billboard for Hedera?
I did, but it was too late, so I have to wait till next year.
Yeah. I was about to
Um,
say all you had to do was fill out a Google Doc and then
I didn't know that.
you're pretty
I
much
didn't.
guaranteed.
I didn't know that. I was bummed out that I did not know
Yeah.
that. And once I found out, I was just like, okay, nobody told me this. So
Makes sense. Yeah, I would have
yeah,
been bummed out as well. I saw it on Hedera's Twitter account a while back, or I guess I should say X account. And yeah, I just filled that out real quick. Didn't really think too much of it. And then once I saw the billboard, I was actually quite surprised. But I guarantee anytime NFT NYC comes back around and Hedera wants to get a little engaged with it, they'll be coming back for round two of those projects on that billboard. So I wouldn't be
I'll
too
I'll be on
disheartened
there.
by it.
I'll be on there. I promise.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a
You'll be
must.
on there for either Yarn World or Yetis. Who knows?
Yeah, no, it's yeah for both hopefully because he does a lot of good stuff for the community. He does help a lot of founders for their own projects and stuff like that. My hat's off to Hydro. He's not only my blood brother, but he's a good friend of mine
That's
and a good
great.
friend of everybody in the community too. Yeah, hopefully we can both be on there. Yeah, it's exciting.
Of course. Yeah, and really anything in this space is quite exciting in my
It is.
eyes. I'd love to really know about the future of Yarn World now. Do you plan on capping the supply, and or what are like some future things that you have planned or in store for Yarn World?
So Yarn World, so Yarn World is not meant to be held. I shouldn't say held. It's not. It's not meant to be contained. I do eventually want to be able to grow and to expand to other blockchains, but right now Hedera is my main focus because it's home. I
Yeah.
build home. I build my home, and then I go to these other places and vacation. I want Hedera because not only is Hedera located down the street from where I live, but it's also been such a great community that I want to build and I want to be able to blow Hedera up the way it's supposed to, not just me, but everybody else in the project. And then be able to expand to other blockchains, which is later down the road, probably years down the road. But as far as the future for us, I do plan on stopping some of the mints. I do have to planned out for the rest of the year what's going to be minted. After that, next year comes around, I am going to only mint out. So the collection for Anti Pop and Rub Club is only 100. After those 100 are minted out, that's it. I'm not making any more. Same thing with Yarn Goats. I may make, I have it all written down. I didn't bring my damn book, so sorry. But I do have a plan with Yarn Goats. Those will be two more collections, and then that's that. I'm capping that there. I still have Yarn Wheels, which will be coming out around Christmas. Yarn Wheels is just something that I think that's going to be the one that just continues to go because it's endless creations with Yarn Wheels. The way I look at Yarn Wheels is like Hot Wheels. They never stop making them. They never stop making different designs. They never stop making Hot Wheels. So Hot Wheels are
Yeah.
forever, and Yarn Wheels are going to be forever as well. So that's one. So there's plans, a lot of plans for the future, and a lot of plans for certain collections to be capped out. Am I capping out with the entire, like all the collections? Maybe at one point, but as of right now, I'm just I want to get Yarn World noticed by everybody, not just my small Yarn World collection community. I want everybody to know who we are, what we're about, who we are, what we bring to the table, and put us, of course, like I said, our main utility, put a smile on everybody's face.
Nice. So how do you plan on reaching these people that you want to reach besides anybody in this current ecosystem? How do you plan on reaching more people?
I do speak on community spaces for other blockchains. I sometimes they don't even have to be blockchains. I do go out and I talk to different, just on different spaces, and I reach out to different people. If they rub me the right way, then not necessarily that, but like that. But anyways, if they talk to me, if they respect me, I'll reach back out to them and I'll see what we can do to move forward, not only with their project but with mine as well. For one of the cases is I just plan to keep reaching out. I plan to keep talking to different folks. It's not just in there. I'm everywhere. I'm trying to talk to everybody and let them know what we're about, what we're here for. And it's just it's that's how you get out there. You got to get out there. You got to put yourself out there. You got to talk to people. You got to communicate because without communication, there's nothing. How do you want to be noticed if you won't speak out? The person that
Yeah.
stays quiet never gets heard. So I go out, I make myself visible, I show people what I'm about, I pour my heart out for people at times. I show them my colors, my true colors, what I'm about.
Couldn't have said it better. I actually, while you were speaking, an idea popped up in my head. And it was simply a way to give back to these holders since you're really just trying to go back and really just make a smile put on these people's faces, specifically your holders. A way of giving back could possibly be running a giveaway for all holders, and whoever gets chosen out of those holders could potentially receive a physical copy, not necessarily copy like a photo or something, but a physical piece of that yarn art collection. So say if it was like a yarn Batman or a yarn duck, they could actually get that little the 3D model yarn version of itself, some way, shape, or form. It was just like an idea that I just thought
So
of
it
right now, but it's just
it's
something that you could consider, of course.
yeah, no, definitely. And it's funny you say that because that's part of what is on the list of utilities.
Nice.
I saw I think it was Iron Chief's mom had crocheted a pop and drop, and I said, I can do that. So me, Omni, and Cece, that's the crew. That's us. We just started. We got on a phone call one day, and we just started brainstorming. What can we do? And we found crochet kits. We found how to crochet stuff like that. And we looked into it already. So it's part of what we want to bring to the table. As of right now, I don't want to promise that because,
Yeah.
of course, and as everybody can relate that's listening, time.
And the complexities behind it as well. It's not
Yes,
necessarily some sort of easy task that can happen overnight.
exactly.
It's much, honestly, it's probably much more complex than the AI teleprompts that you use.
It is 100%
Yeah.
because you have to sit there and you have to knit these things. You have to crochet them, and you have to crochet them a certain way. If not, you'll have one flat side and one round side. So
Yep.
it takes time. Not only that, but I know a little bit. My wife knows a little bit. She can help, but it takes time to learn this stuff. So another option we were looking at instead of crochet was felting because it's technically made out of wool. It's yarn. So we were looking at felting. We're looking at different options as far as utility. What I can tell you that I am going to do for the Hello Future Live event, I'm not going to be there. Fortunately, my daughter's birthday falls on that weekend, but Hydro is going to be representing for me. I am going to create, and this is the first time I've told anybody, so I am creating some NFTs that I will be basically doing a Wheel of Fortune, and you'll be able to get a T-shirt and some stickers and just actual physical items that I'm creating. And
Yeah.
I've posted them on X, and people have seen them. I've gotten a few likes on stuff. Still working on it. I have a few more weeks before that time rolls around, but I should have everything pretty much said and done by then.
Awesome.
So yeah, it's there's a lot in the works. There's a lot in the works. It's not just AI pictures. It's a lot. It's there's a lot in the background going on.
I look forward to hearing about more. If there's, this podcast has been very informative, not only to myself, but I hope to everybody out there listening as well in the audience. If there's anything else you'd like to mention about Yarn World now would be the time to do so. But besides that, you've pretty much cleared up all my questions. It's a fairly self-explanatory project, and there's a lot of intricate little things that go into this project as well regarding the art specifically. But I look forward to really seeing how Yarn World progresses within these next few months to years, and I look forward to seeing you guys staying active within this ecosystem.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you taking interest in my project because it's hard nowadays to get people to be
Yeah,
interested in certain things, especially as we all know, the bear market,
yeah,
which I like to call what me and Hydro do in the background, the built on bear workshop. So we definitely want to keep bringing that heat to the table and let people know we're here to stay. Like I said, later down the road, we may venture out, find a vacation home, but we will always come home. Adara is home. Adara is where we want to stay as far as Yarn World. So I feel like I said, I want to venture out. I just feel like right now is the time to grow community here. And then not only that, but also build those relationships with other people on other blockchains. So when the
yeah.
time does come, it is amazing and it goes the way it's supposed to. One of the biggest things that I do want to say is I don't want to oversaturate the market with yarn. A lot of projects they'll drop a collection of 500, 600, 700. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it as scarce as possible. I want it to be a rarity. 100 max will always be the max of any mint that I'll ever do. And they're going to be mini drops, 25 here, 25 there, 25 there, because it just makes it fun. It makes it
Yeah,
fun when you go mint because it's almost like you're racing to go mint because other people are racing to go mint. And that's honestly, that's the way it should be. A lot of projects will drop 500 here and expect to mint out overnight. And it just does not happen because
it doesn't.
it's not only the price, but you're dropping way too many at one time. So it's a strategy that I've learned. It's a strategy that mistakes have been made over the past. I used to be hash coats. I don't know if you remember that.
I do.
There were some mistakes that I'd done in the past. I listened to certain people. I did what certain people told me to do because that's what they liked. Then I realized I'm not doing what I like anymore.
It's an
That's where
issue.
I screwed up, and I want to say that for other projects, don't do what other people want you to do. What you want to do. Do what you feel is right. Do what you like. Because at the end of the day, you did that from the very beginning, and it worked. The moment you start listening to someone else about what you should do, is when it goes all down the drain. Like, more power to you, whoever's listening to this, and just build. Build how
Definitely.
you know how to
Just
build.
build.
Build how you know
Supply
how
and
to build.
demand is a key
Exactly.
factor into building.
Exactly. At the end of the day, you did it right from the very beginning and you did what was in your heart. The moment you start, oh, you should tweak this or tweak that or do this or put this on there, don't do that. Do what you feel is right.
Yeah. I want to say thank you once again for taking the time to join me on the Alt Kings podcast. This has been a very informative episode regarding Yarn World. I wish you the best of luck and great success moving forward on Hedera and any other chains that you tend to venture off into. But, ladies and gentlemen, with that being said, this has been the Alt Kings podcast, and we will see you all next episode. Peace. Nice.